Welcome to Unfit Statesman with Zach Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Sunday, the Lord's Day, Black History Month, a lot going on, a lot of lives mattering, okay? There's a lot of lives that are mattering this month, okay? And we honor those lives that matter. And I'd like to start off the show, right? I'd like to just get this out of the way and kind of set the stage and make sure that the people out there understand how we feel here at this show about Black History Month and about how how much we want to know how much we want the people to know how much we think Black Lives Matter and and how much we want to be able to memorialize Black figures and all the contributions that Black people have made to society, to American society. And so I think, I think this is in order. I think this is something that's deserved, and I wanted to play it here at the top of the episode so people know where I stand.
And I love you. I appreciate you. I adore you. Ain't nothing better than a black man to me in this world. If you're a black man, you're a king. You will always be a king. Woo-wee.
Say it one more time, sister.
Hey, black man. I love you. I appreciate you. I adore you. Ain't nothing better than a black man to me in this world. If you're a black man, you're a king. You will always be a king. Woo-wee.
And that's how we feel here at Unfit Statesman. If you are a black man, you are a king and you will always be a king. Not only do you hold the status of royalty now, but you will always hold status of royalty in our hearts. Happy Black History Month. Now, we will try to stay on theme of Black History Month today. There's only so much I can do to guarantee that as a truth. I doubt that we'll end up staying, this isn't going to be a Roots news clip. But, we want to know that, we want to tell you guys, all you Black fellas and women, all you Black kings and queens out there, that happy Black History Month. Okay? Happy Black History Month. And that obese white woman said it best. The kings and queens. Okay? You remember that. You take that home with you. You tell your mother that. Say you listen to a podcast, a white fella told you that you were a king. You go tell your mother, you say, a white fella told me I was a king. And I agree with him. You tell you, I agree with that white fella, that honky, that white ally. Right? We're allies here at the podcast. We're allies. We're white allies. We're here to do nothing but support the Black race. And, I think that one of the biggest things outside of just clarifying where I stand on Black History Month and Black people in general with that video, and thank you very much, Marsha, probably. It sounds like a Marsha. A Marsha sounds like a woman who would be laying down on her couch and, showing off the trifold neck that she does have with her short haircut and explaining to the audience that she does love herself a Black king. It sounds like a Marsha thing to do. A Marsha from Wisconsin, maybe. A Marsha from Wisconsin, right? Perhaps Northern Kentucky. Not sure. You can go either way. Marsha or a Miriam, I think. But I do appreciate her making that video because it is in line with the theme of the show and the ethics of the show. But it's not good enough to just not be racist. I think it's been made very clear by the left that it's not good enough to just not be racist. You have to be anti-racist. And one of the things that you have to do if you're going to be an anti-racist is to call out racism when you see it. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to show you a video just to provide context. And I forget where I first heard this video. This is an old video, but again, just because the injustices happened years ago, decades ago, doesn't mean that they've been corrected. And we're here to correct outstanding injustice, right? Justice that's never been, injustices that have never been rectified. And this is one of them, I think. This is a black woman who is in a Wells Fargo, and it is clear that the system, is preventing her from withdrawing funds from her bank account. That seems to be her complaint. And she's a strong black queen who stands up for herself. And, I'm going to do what little I can do to raise awareness on this platform to show what black women go through when they go to the bank, right? This is what black women go through on a daily basis when they just want to go to the bank and get the money out of their account, right? This is systemic racism. And I just want to give you a warning that it's tough to watch. You're going to be shocked. If you're a white, you might be very shocked. You might be not at all familiar with this type of treatment. But this is what black women go through every single day. Every single day. Every time they walk into a bank, this is what happens. Okay? Or something similar. This mistreatment, this injustice, this immorality, this unethical and disgusting behavior by whites in positions of authority. Absolutely disgusting. And I'm here to point it out in Black History Month. That's what we're going to be doing this month. Okay. It's going to be all focused on pointing out the misdeeds and injustices done unto black kings and queens. And we'll start out with this video. And it's, like I said, it's hard to watch, hard to listen to, even if you're just listening to it, because most of you are, because you never fucking do what I tell you and go over to the fucking audio or the video mediums. But it has to be done. It has to be exposed, right? We got to do the real journalism here because the mainstream media ain't doing it. Let's take a listen.
We're trying to get the situation under control today. Sorry. But the tellers will be right with you. The tellers will be right with you.
You got my motherfucking money. Yeah, but you tell them why. They stole my purse. And I gotta have $1 million in this motherfucker. Come on, $40. Kiss my pussy. Kiss it! Right in that quack of it, bitch. And I'll be back. I want my goddamn money. You Bank of America, you Chinese motherfucker. I told you they got my purse with everything in it. Get that motherfucker out here. Give me that other bag. Get him out here. Yeah, they know who I am. Tell Chief Blue I got his goddamn nuts. You got my goddamn money. I told you.
Yeah, so this is a black woman who is clearly having an issue at the bank. They're refusing to give her money. She told them. She told them that her purse was stolen. My assumption is that she's having trouble withdrawing funds because she maybe doesn't have the proper identification. Perhaps, I'm certain of it, that she has provided alternative forms of identification that could really pass as authentic and could certainly allow her into her account. But they're not going to let her because they just want to they want to give black women a hard time. They want to give black people a hard time. In her state of merited frustration, mind you, she did confuse a Wells Fargo as Bank of America, but she made a poignant, a really larger political point to the banking system. Said, "You Bank of America, you Chinese motherfuckers." And I think what she's speaking to, and this is something that you have to read into, is the globalist aspect of our banking system and how the globalist banking machinery, basically this engine of global banking has aided in the perpetual racism toward folks of color in this country, and I think she's getting to a very nuanced point. And unfortunately, she is rightfully upset. You know, she has a $500,000 in that motherfucker. I don't know. You know, can you imagine the outrage you would feel if you had a $500,000 in that motherfucker, and then you walked in and they were talking about $40, right? You said, I'm going to withdraw, you know, $9,000 of my $500,000 in this motherfucker. And they say, you only have $40. I would say, kiss my pussy too. Kiss it! It's a frustrating thing. It's a frustrating thing. Very understandable. Let's listen to her pain. Listen to the pain in her voice, the frustration. A pain that can only come from 500 years of oppression. Right? Or 400 and some. A little over 400, right? When did the oppression of black people in America start? 1619, according to the 1619 Project. That's 405 years. Yeah. 405 years of oppression, and the pain and frustration and anger, passion, is that of 405 years of oppression. Let's listen.
Yeah, but you tell them why. They stole my purse, and I got $500,000 in this motherfucker. Talking about $40. Kiss my pussy. Kiss it! Right in that crack of it, bitch. And I'll be back. I want my goddamn money. You Bank of America, you Chinese motherfucker. I told you they got my purse with everything in it. Get that motherfucker out here. Give me that other bag. Get him out here. Yeah, they know who I am. Tell Chief Blue I got his goddamn nuts.
Listen, in my opinion, somebody get her $500,000. Somebody tell Chief Blue she's got his goddamn nuts. What a tragedy. What a tragedy. And Lord knows, I mean, I don't know how old that video is. I definitely was exposed to it multiple years ago, and I forget where I saw it. Probably on the internet. But I'm going to go ahead and take a guess. I'm going to take a stab in the dark here and say that Wells Fargo did not rectify their error and return to her $500,000. It's my assumption. I don't know for a fact if that's the case. If anybody can provide any context as to what happened post this this video, I would love to hear from you guys. I don't know if you're, I don't know if you're as passionate about exposing injustices perpetrated against black people as I am. I don't know if you guys are as much of a white ally as I am. I mean, I'm pretty much as the allyest of whites that you can get. I've made myself very clear that I am an anti-racist. I'm not just not racist, I'm an anti-racist. I kill white people all the time because they are reaping a societal and cultural and monetary and political benefit just by being alive. They are privileged in their just being not having as much melanin as a black person, right? And I want to make this very clear. It doesn't matter. It does not matter if you and your family just moved here from Germany or Poland or wherever. It doesn't matter if you have a lineage tracing back to America's racist misdeeds, whether it's slavery or Jim Crow. That doesn't matter. It matters that you're white. And if you're white, you're benefiting from white privilege. Well, I'm here to tell you that not everybody has that privilege. Whitey, not everybody walks around with their pristine white porcelain skin, fanning their face off in the summer heat with their sunglasses on and the umbrella to shade them from the sun's rays because you're so delicate and pretty. Not everybody has that privilege. Some people walk into a Wells Fargo and they can't get their $500,000. Let me ask you something, white women. Have you ever walked into the Wells Fargo and tried to withdraw funds from your account and they say no? They say, no, you only have $40 in here? I don't think so. I don't think so. So let's just be very mindful of Black History Month for another, was it third, fourth? For another 24 days. Or is it leap year? It is leap year. For another 25 days. What is leap year? Is that one more day? I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't know. But yes, Black History Month. Be good to blacks. Don't be racist. Right? Black History Month. I saw something interesting. It was in The Economist. It said that 1 in 5, and it was according to a poll. I don't remember which poll it was. It's probably bullshit. It sounds like bullshit, but they said that 1 in 5 young Americans think that the Holocaust was a myth. And one, how young? Right? You're talking like 12? How young are we talking here? When you say young Americans, what does that mean? Adolescents? Middle schoolers, high schoolers, college-aged students? I can't imagine there's 1 in 5. I can't believe 20% of college and high school-aged kids believe the Holocaust was a myth. I doubt it. And if it is true, I mean, there's that thing that they say that if, people who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. I don't know. I think it might be the other way around. I think the more you know history, the more you're doomed to repeat it. Probably, right? I mean, think about this for a second. If you're sitting in a room and you're watching TV with somebody, just watch it. Your mind's on the TV show. That's it. And the person goes, don't think about Laffy Taffy. Whatever you do, don't think about Laffy Taffy. Mimi, don't think about fucking Laffy Taffy right now. Guess what Mimi just thought of? She thought of Laffy Taffy. If you plant anything in somebody's head, they're going to think about it. At the very least, right? But if there's a person who hears the story of the Holocaust, Hitler rising to power post-World War I in Germany, convincing a large portion of society, of German society, that their problems are to be blamed on a select few populations. And then he becomes so powerful globally, on a global scale, in an age where he's contending with with America and the Soviet Union and the United Kingdom and everything, that he pulls off killing 6 million Jews, black people, gays, retardeds. That's I was going to say retards and retardeds. It's a nice thing about Black History Month, though, folks. You get a pass on the fag and the retard. Yeah. Nobody's paying attention to those in February. If there is a person to think that, they listen to that and go, that's silly, that can't even, that's ridiculous. What a ridiculous thing to say, right? That the Holocaust and just World War II in general, maybe, that never happened. That's ridiculous. That's almost better from a moral standpoint, because in that moment, they're acknowledging in the moment of denying its reality, it's almost acknowledging the absurdity, right? Because that's what the Holocaust was. It was a moral absurdity. I mean, what an absurd thought process to have, that you can just kill 6 million Jews. That is a moral absurdity. The idea that in any way you think that that's justified, that's absurd. That's an absurd thought process to bring yourself to the point where you think it's justified to kill 6 million Jews. So it's almost right? Almost better that maybe they deny it, if it's true, if 20% of them deny it. They say, that's fucking ridiculous. What an absurd thing. No person in their right mind would actually be able to, to convince people of such a silly notion that all of their problems can be blamed on one race of people and then kill 6 million of them. What an absurd thing. So it's almost, like I said, it shows that those 20% are aware of how insanely evil the act is. And because they're so in tune with the immorality of it, it moves into the realm of absurd in their mind. Right? Is that a good enough justification of Holocaust deniers, folks? I mean, it is Black History Month. We could get into the fucking get a little Black Israelite here. This show does support the Black Israelites. I want to make that very clear. Actually, they might be my favorite blacks. The Black Israelites might be my favorite blacks. I think they are my favorite blacks by a good margin. Black rednecks and Black Israelites, my favorite. My two favorite. But this is the type of shit that they're pushing, in the media, that they're going to start trying to portray demographics more likely to push back against the mainstream media's agenda, more likely to push back against, the federal government, more likely to deny subscribing to one or the other political party, more likely to be an independent thinker, more likely to move to an independent political thought process, or join like the Libertarian Party. All of those demographics that the government and the media sees as, hey, they're just not gonna fall in line right or left like we have seen in previous generations. All of those demographics are going to start being labeled as people who are foolish, stupid, dangerous, right? We've seen it happen with conspiracy theorists already. But they're going to start getting more specific as to who they're talking about when they say conspiracy theorists, because there's a lot of conspiracy theorists, and they range from, they're usually men, but they range from anywhere from probably like 65 down to fucking 15, right? That's the pocket. There's a 50-year pocket for men because men are fucking awesome, right? There's a 50-year deep pocket of conspiracy theorists amongst men in America, and the government really doesn't know what to do about it, right? They don't understand why. I think they have a grasp on. I shouldn't say they don't understand. They do understand why. People are turning to conspiracy theories, quote unquote conspiracy theories. That's a loaded term now. Many conspiracy theories are correct. They don't but they don't understand. They understand why, but they don't understand how to rein it in. Like I said, in previous generations, it was very easy to rein in a theory that was counter the mainstream narrative. You would silence a journalist. You would, withhold facts. You would tell, the CIA was involved in basically feeding scripts to ABC, CBS, NBC, all the mainstream nightly news networks. It was very easy. It was a very single point of contact, single point of entry. There was a lot of gatekeepers as far as information dissemination went. And now, because of the internet and, their own perpetual fuckery, people have, become harder and harder to rein in as far as how much they believe what's being told to them by the government and the media. And so they're having trouble figuring out how to rein these people in. They no longer can use their old tactics of gatekeeping, manipulating narratives, because nobody's paying attention to their narratives anyway. And so what they have to do is they have to go on the attack. They can no longer limit the information that people are receiving, or they can no longer, alter it or skew it to make sure they never fall into that category in the first place. We're already in that category. There's people that are already in that category. So they have to blow out of proportion what type of negative characteristic that particular demographic has, and they're going to have to be more specific, because when you just say conspiracy theorists, well, the Epstein thing came out already. You can't just say conspiracy theorists, because the Epstein thing is technically a conspiracy theory, but everybody knows it's true. So now they're going to have to get more specific. Who are the misguided, misinformed, dangerous people, right? And it's going to fall in line with who is more likely to challenge the mainstream narrative, right? Young people. And that's throughout history, young people have been more rebellious, have been more questioning of authority, right? So they say 1 out of 5 young people don't think the Holocaust happened. Well, that's just not, there's no way. There's no possible way that 20% of young Americans don't think the Holocaust happened. It's just not, there's just no way. It's just not true. Now, you might say, Zach, what's the counter evidence that you have that can disprove this poll? I don't have any. I just know that every single person that's ever lived in America learns about it in school. They are taught multiple lessons on it. And I just there's no evidence that to that being true at all, outside of this one particular poll. There's no way. But it's a good tactic to put people in the mindset of, hey, young people have some wacky ideas. These young people, these youngsters, they got some wacky ideas about the Holocaust and not going to war with Russia and China. These young people, listen, yeah, they say that they don't want to continue supplementing war in the Middle East, but they also don't think the Holocaust happened. So what side of history are they on in the first place? That's the tactic, right? So when demographics like libertarians or independents, conspiracy theorists, right? People who do their own research, young people, fringe thinkers, when they start making very valid points that are starting to resonate in the mainstream, right? Like maybe we should stop sending money to Ukraine. It's over. Maybe we should stop sending money to Israel. They're committing a genocide. Maybe we shouldn't necessarily have to defend Taiwan with our lives if China takes it back. It was historically Chinese anyway. Maybe we shouldn't be hitting targets in Iraq and Syria. Maybe we shouldn't be having military quarrels with Iran. See, all of those things are valid points. They're rational points. You might not necessarily agree with them. Maybe you have a nuanced point as to why you think all of that should happen, and you'd probably be wrong, because I can't imagine anybody who's defending any of these foreign wars at this point has any type of moral justification for it, let alone monetary or otherwise, right? Strategic geopolitical points. But at the very least, even if you disagree, there's no irrationality in those arguments, right? And the easiest one, all you have to do is make one point. You say, we're broke right now. We can't afford wars. Just saying that is a good point as to not want to go to war with anybody right now. We should stay out of it. But because the military industrial complex, they can't let that happen. They can't let that happen. They can't let that happen. So what they have to do is they have to mix in some irrational, I guess, stereotypes into these demographics that are starting to make sense. It's the only way they're going to subvert the points. They know they can't counter the points that are being made by these demographics. So what they have to do is they have to subvert them by pinning them to a stereotype that is perceived as irrational. And so it becomes harder for outsiders who are not necessarily already in these groups to deem whether or not these people make any sense or they're worth listening to. It's the only way. And it's a smart tactic. It's a subversion technique. It was a subversion. It was a technique. It was a paper written by, I forget what position he held in Obama's administration, but it was a man named Cass Sunstein. And I believe it was his thesis. It was his thesis when he was going to Harvard. And it was a paper about how to tactically subvert fringe communities, online or otherwise. And it was not destroying it completely, right? This isn't an Israel to Gaza approach where we wipe them all out. That's not the approach that government takes to subverting and discrediting these communities. It's subtle. You plant one idea here, and you know that idea is bullshit, but it might take off, right? Maybe a few of them take to it, right? You say, oh, like QAnon. You say, oh, Trump's he is signaling to people. Now, there were retarded people who went, true, looks like it to me, and they took to it, and they subverted the whole Trump supporter January 6th thing, right? If you were in any way close to those demographics, you're now a dumb conspiracy theorist, dangerous, misinformed domestic terrorist. It's subversion. And then if they can't necessarily get the demographic to go along with any of the points that they planted in the community, then they use their outside resources to deem them a particular whatever, right? Dangerous or misinformed or dumb or silly, threatening, malignant, insidious, sinister. Ooh, what a vocabulary I have today. And this is a subtle way of going about it. They say, well, 1 in 5 young Americans don't believe the Holocaust happened. Well, obviously anybody with rational, anything about history, right? Now, you say the Holocaust happened, right? World War II happened. Yeah. And the rational response to somebody who said none of that happened, you go, oh, okay, well, you have a good one. You have a good one, and you say you wish them a blessed Sunday, and you move on with their life, because you immediately go, that person's not really. There's no way they're probably mentally disabled, right? They're probably not all there. They're probably not working a job that requires a lot of mental capacity. That's probably the conclusion that you follow, or that you come to after hearing somebody say that the Holocaust or World War II didn't happen. So what they're doing is they're subtly implanting like I said, that's not true. There's no way that's true. There's no way that 20% of young Americans, and again, I don't know what they mean by young Americans, but there's no way that 20% of young Americans don't believe the Holocaust happened. That's just not true. It's just not true. There's no possible way. But if they can, because young Americans are questioning, if they can get people to start believing that young Americans don't believe in the Holocaust, then people are going to go, well, what the fuck else do they believe? They're saying that they shouldn't be taxed at an exorbitant rate because the money is being misallocated and misused and abused. Power is being abused. Taxation actually might be theft, especially when it's not consensual in the way that they're spending it, right? The way that they're spending it is not beneficial to the American people. Well, that sounds rational, but they also don't believe the Holocaust happened, so we can't really listen to that. We can't really listen to that, right? They can't really say, oh, you say that bombing Iraq and Syria and quarreling with Iran, you're saying that we've done that before and it didn't turn out that well and it turned out to be a complete waste of money and human life? Yeah, I guess that sounds right, but you don't fucking believe that the Holocaust happened, so I don't really know what to think of you right now. I don't know what to think of you right now. I can't tell if you're a white ally or not. I can't tell if you're if you're an anti-racist or you're just a person who's not racist. I can't tell. I'm confused. I'm perplexed. I don't know whether or not I should listen to you. I don't know whether or not I should seriously consider your opinions. I'm going to be pissing all day. I got a large iced coffee, folks. I'm going to be pissing all day. Sometimes when I drink enough coffee, my piss smells like coffee. It smells like coffee. Black coffee. That's how I drink it. Sometimes I'll have one cream, but not too much cream. And I'm not doing any cream during Black History Month. I'm going to drink my coffee black during Black History Month. And that is a guarantee. That is a white ally guarantee, an anti-racist's guarantee. Okay? It's an anti-racist's guarantee. I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning, folks. I have a very busy day. There's a bunch of shit going on in my household. There's celebrations and there's a dinner and there's it's just a lot. We'll do 45 to an hour. If we get to 45 and I've covered everything that I want to cover and I've made you happy, I've satiated you, all of you anti-racists and black kings and queens out there, we'll call it a day. Okay? We'll call it a day. If it's going to be 45 to an hour, no more than an hour, no less than 45. We're at 39 right now, 5 minutes. We've got 2 more videos to cover. I've made my stance on Black History Month very clear. I've made my stance on whether or not 20% of young Americans think the Holocaust is fake or not very clear. I've made my stance on defending black queens and Wells Fargo's and when that dumb white bitch behind the counter, because it's a white dumb bitch fucking bank teller. And she's like, well, ma'am, actually, I'm not seeing it. Do you have your account? Shut up, bitch. Shut up, bitch. I don't need an account number. I'm a black queen. I don't need a card or an ID to access my $500,000 in this motherfucker. I don't need that. What's your PIN? What's my PIN? I'll tell you what my PIN is. My PIN is 1619, as in the 1619 Project. When the systemic oppression of black people started in this country. That's my PIN. That's my bank card PIN. Well, we need something to access. No, you don't. Give me my $500,000 in this motherfucker. Otherwise, you can kiss my pussy. I don't know how to make this more clear to you. White devil. I want my $500,000. And if you're not going to give me my $500,000 in this motherfucker, you're going to kiss my pussy. And Lord knows, by the way, how much of that $500,000 that woman had was taxed. That was not her gross income. That was her net income, right? They probably took $500,000 from her, and they took $500,000, spent it on a bomb, and just bombed Iraq for whatever reason. I'm not paying attention to the news anymore. It's boring. I'm bored. 2024 is boring me. If we're going to get in a war, do it with another country. I'm sick of fighting with the Middle East. I'm sick of seeing war footage and it's all fucking gray brown houses and sand. Let's fight somewhere tropical. Let's go back to Vietnam if we're going to get in a war. Something a little fucking exciting. Let's change the setting, right? When you play Call of Duty, you don't play on the same fucking map every time. You change it up a little bit. Enough fighting in the Middle East. Go somewhere else. Taiwan is interesting. It's an island. There's the beach. Be nice to see blood on the beach. Would it not? Would it not be nice to see blood on the beach? And not blood from a person who stepped on a used heroin needle. Because every beach in America is infested with heroin addicts and people who almost OD'd on fentanyl and they came back. They did it. They're fucking resilient ones, those folks. It's boring. I'm bored. Chiefs and Niners in the Super Bowl. Oh, great. Great. Yeah, can't wait. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to see Travis Kelce and George Kittle, two great white tight ends, run a kind of shit route, but then catch a touchdown pass in the red zone because they're stronger than the corner guarding them. I can't wait. Lamar Jackson choked on a dick. And we're not going to talk that. My apologies. We're not talking that way. It is Black History Month. Who's a blacker team? Who am I cheering for? Who's got more black people? I don't count Patrick Mahomes as black, by the way. Got a lot of whites on the Chiefs. Not a lot, but my best guess is there's probably more whites on the Niners. Probably. I don't know. But even so, I mean, Deebo Samuel's black enough to make up for four whites. Deebo Samuel's black enough to take four whites into him, disperse the melanin evenly, and they're all black. So I don't know. I don't really care. I'll put a few bets down and see what happens. I'm going to hedge them too. I'm going to money line the Niners and the Chiefs. I'm going to cover both spreads, the overs and the unders. It's good to hedge your bets, folks. It's good to hedge your bets. Let's get to these last two videos here before we go. I don't know if I'm going to provide any commentary on these. I just thought they were funny. This is Boris Johnson in an interview, just, I don't know, having a stroke or something. He makes weird noises, and I think you would enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy it. And listen, it's white mockery on Black History Month.
Something that's a fairly large multitasking. But that's a lot.
I know, but we will. How?
A NATO summit. That's a fairly large multitasking. But that's a lot.
I know, but we will. How?
Good stuff. Good stuff. He was summoning a demon. That sounded like he was summoning a demon. And do you know who the only person who can truly fend off demons in this universe is? It's Jesus Christ.
This is Jesus Christ, and I just broke into the Pizza Hut. I broke the window in. I'm here. Jesus is here now. He's back. He's back to Earth.
All right. And so you don't work there?
No, I just broke in. Had a pizza. I'm Jesus.
And what was your name again?
My name is Jesus.
What's your last name, Jesus?
Christ.
What a foolish question by the dispatcher, huh? What a foolish question.
Okay. And what do you look like?
I look like Jesus.
I want to make it very clear. Even though the picture is showing this is a white man, but it's black. Jesus was a black man. Okay.
What else do I supposed to look like?
Why'd you do that?
Because I'm Jesus. I can do whatever I want. We're tired of Judases on this earth. We're going to clean this earth up. So what are you up to?
Well, where do you live at?
I don't. I'm from heaven.
How'd you get over to the Pizza Hut?
I'm from heaven, sir.
Okay. And did you break a front window?
Yeah, I broke the door window, sir.
And did you eat a pizza?
Yeah. Had a Mountain Dew.
I've always thought that Jesus would like Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew does seem to be a beverage of the gods, not because it's because the only way you can drink Mountain Dew without doing detrimental harm to your innards it would be to be a god, to be indestructible, right? The only way to not die in some way, shape, or form that is tied back to Mountain Dew consumption would be to be immortal. And so I do think Mountain Dew is the nectar of the gods. Mountain Dew. It's the nectar of the gods. Black people are gods. Black people can drink Mountain Dew and eat Doritos and they still only have 3% body fat and they look shredded. Meanwhile, I go to the gym and I eat fucking egg whites and fucking canned chicken and I look like shit. Because black people are kings. Black kings and queens. I stayed on Black History Month theme pretty well. We're at 47 minutes. We did pretty good. We're at 48 minutes. We did pretty good. Go to the Patreon. Get over to YouTube. Go to Rumble. Go to wherever. Rockfin. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Twitter and Instagram. I'm looking to get more engagement. I've been gaining followers at a rate of like 2 people a day or 1 person a day lately. It's odd. I don't know what's going on. I'm not tweeting anymore. Or any less. It's just the same, so I'm not sure what's happening. But I enjoy the uptick in followers. I enjoy the uptick in listeners. I wish the uptick would happen in video format. I've told you that already. You refuse to listen, which is fine. I can't tell you what to do. I'm nothing but a anti-racist white ally. I'm not going to tell the black kings and queens what to do. You know, if the black kings and queens want to listen to me audio only, that's just fine for me. But if you are white, you do have an obligation to go over and fucking watch the video. Yeah. I appreciate listening on the beginning of this Black History Month. Next Sunday, we will have so I know it's the Super Bowl next Sunday. So I'll still release it. It's not fucking, I'll release it at night so you can listen to it Monday morning. I don't know when you guys listen to this, whether it's a Monday morning or if you listen to it when it comes out Sunday night. Sometimes it comes out pretty late Sunday night, so probably not. So I'll still release it Sunday night. And then you'll have a nice Monday morning podcast to listen to on your way to work. And on your way to work that follows DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, many Black people. Make sure to thank your Black folks at work and in your family. If you have any in your family, if you don't, shame on you. And thank you. Thank you.